That's where it is. It doesn't conform to where. So you pay the debt. Yes, sir. I was on the phone today with BSOP, Committee, Business, Student, Operation and Affairs. And, on this, thing about, supplemental supply, a lot of school systems, county commissioners, is pulling back. For example, we get supplemental funding. We get $1.2 million, small counties.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting, April 24th, regular board meeting in session. It is now in session at this time. I hope that all of you have had a wonderful and restful weekend. And we hope you've had a great start to your week. We are now going to the Pledge of Allegiance with Mr. Deluxe leading us.
Join me if you would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Deluxe. May I have a motion to accept the agenda at this time? May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda has been approved. May I have a motion to approve the March 27th, 2023 regular board meeting?
No move, Madam Chair.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, state aye. All opposed? The minutes for March 22nd board meeting have been approved. Now we'll move down to 3.1. Our field trip request at this time. Mrs. Pate, how are you?
We have some submissions for today. This one's from the Hertford County High School. They want to go to King's Dominion for some marketing activities. The students will gain real-world skills from marketing veterans who make it happen. They will have some information and packed marketing seminars. The students, and then we'll explore the park. Stacey Story, ICAE APR, Director of Global Communications at International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, will share how the theme park industry marketed and engaged with their guests during the pandemic and discuss the industry's efforts today. There are some marketing guidelines and standards that students will be covering, and they are expected to travel early morning 9 a.m. departure and return back to Hertford County High School at 8 p.m. that evening. Please take a look at the fund source as the school's funds. They have secured their funds and everything has been prepaid.
Are there any questions or concerns about the field trip? Well, may I have a motion at this time to approve the field trip to Busch Gardens?
King's Dominion, I'm sorry. King's Dominion.
I'm sorry. For King's Dominion for marketing day at this time.
Motion to approve.
May I have a second, please?
Second motion.
All in favor, state aye. All opposed? The field trip request to King's Dominion
Yes, ma'am.
has been approved at this time.
Perfect, thank you. There is another request submitted for Hertford County Middle School. This one's for Education Day for our 8th graders at King's Dominion as well. This day will be provided for students with a day full of hands-on STEM activities involving science, engineering, coding, and robotics, along with all those fun-filled rides. The purpose of the trip will provide students with real-world experience, which will allow students to see how mathematics and science can be used and is used every single day, everywhere they go. The date of departure is April 28th, 8 a.m., and return the same day at 6 p.m. The funding source is through our students and parents have prepaid, and all funds have been dispersed.
Are there any questions or concerns? With that, I have a motion to approve the field trip to King's
Yes,
Dominion,
ma'am.
Hertford County Middle School's Education Day.
Promotion.
May I have a second, please?
Second motion, can.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Field trip request for Hertford County Middle School to participate in Education Day at King's Dominion has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move on to 3.2, 2023-24, the bail schedule. Dr. Pratt.
Yes, Ms. Quinn is here tonight to present to us a recommendation for our 2023-24 school year. So I'm gonna turn it over to Ms. Quinn at this time.
Good evening, Chair Porter,
Good evening.
Brad, and board members. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. So tonight, I want to go over the Hertford County School 2023-2024 bail schedule proposal.
Can we get the PowerPoint up, please? It's on the board docs. Will you just log on to board docs and pull up the PowerPoint? I'll go to the board doc site and pull up the PowerPoint from Ms. Quinn. Okay, thank you. There you go, Ms. Quinn.
Okay. So as of right now, our current bail schedule for our 2022-2023, each school currently has different start and end times for their instructional day. This makes it very difficult to calculate the number of instructional hours accurately for our school calendar. It also is an enormous issue when it comes to buses. Our 2023-2024 proposal for our bail schedule, what we would like to do is have a consistent start time at all schools. All schools would start at 8 a.m. and end time of 3:15 p.m. Just showing you. The reason that we've come up with this is operational benefits. Number one, we would have enough instructional hours so that even with fog delays, snow delays, etc., we would have no change to the schedule. We would maintain all of our teacher work days doing this. The instructional benefits, we would have an increased instructional time to offer more enrichment and intervention opportunities. These instructional minutes will allow us to extend our intervention periods at each school in order to better meet the individual needs of each of our students. We asked our staff for input on this because we wanted to know how they felt. A survey was given to all of our Hertford County Public Schools staff. 116 staff members supported and added the add of 15 minutes, while 30 voted not to add the 15-minute time. 80% of our staff were in support of adding the 15 minutes each day. We did get some comments back on that, and some of our pros comments and some of our concerns were, great suggestion. Teachers have stuff scheduled sometimes on those days off. They kind of make their appointments toward the school calendar. So when those days are delayed or we've got to cut into that calendar, it causes some mishap. I know this past year we had an issue with that when it came to bus drivers. We ended up with a bus driver shortage. Some of the cons were, of course, buses. People were concerned about buses, but as we talked about, getting each school their own individual buses, I think will also create much better. Some said that it's difficult. It makes the day longer. It's already difficult to work the hours that they're working. When it comes to transportation and the proposed new schedule of students arriving to school and leaving school, we've kind of come up with a time schedule that car riders may be dropped off at 7:45 a.m. Buses will arrive to the campus at 7:50. Instructional time begins at 8 a.m. That will be the time that the students, as I said it in our senior team meeting, that's the butt and seat time. That's when instruction begins. At the end of the day, you'll have your PM, where your instructional day ends at 3:15. Your bus and car riders depart at 3:20, and all students are off the campus by 3:30. Of course, the big question that the board always has is the budget impact. There is no impact when this comes to the budget. We will make consistent schedules for all TAs, which will ensure the change does not impact the budget. For example, some come in at 7:30 now and leave at 3. With this change, all will come in at 7:45 a.m. and leave at 3:15 p.m. and keep their hours the same. Any questions?
Ms. Edna,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Quinn, scenario, I'm a high school student, bus arrives at 7:50. Class starts at 8. Does a child have enough time to get from the bus to breakfast to class on time?
Yes, because most students actually eat their breakfast in the classroom in the morning. So this gives them the time to go to get their breakfast and then go to the classroom.
High school use breakfast in the classroom?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I think it's all full.
okay. Thank you.
on that,
Who's anybody else? Kids eating in the classrooms?
Well, I knew about the other schools. I did not know about high school.
We, Ms.
I thought there
Hargett,
was a,
can you come up and explain what we're doing with the breakfast in the classroom? Yes.
You talking to response?
sanitation. Yeah. I thought when it came up.
So I'm not sure when it started, but we can kind of talk us through the history of that.
So we're doing grab and go. I think that's what all the principals have pretty much requested, to get it and move along. Mike can give more input as to why they prefer it. Giving a thumbs up, but we're doing a grab and go breakfast meal.
Ms. Britt,
To grab and go, and it works really well.
I'm not in place describing what it works well, or that's not what,
Mhm.
I'm saying, well, I didn't know it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
okay.
And I thought we had, when it first came up, if I remember correctly, had something to do with pest control, with food in it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody brought it up. Now, I didn't make it up.
About bringing food back to the classroom,
Yes.
that could have been an issue with, with trash or food, that wasn't taken care of properly, but I hadn't heard that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's working, it's working.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, yeah, it's working, it's working. Okay,
It's working.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
good deal. All right.
I think it provides a little bit more structure for principals in the AM that kids come into the cafeteria, they grab their bag and go straight to to their classroom where they have very direct supervision instead of teachers having to come down to the cafeteria, supervise the cafeteria while they're there, and then kids leaving the cafeteria. So it provides a little bit more structure at the beginning of the day for kids and for schools and teachers as they do it. I'm not sure.
Moves them faster from the cafeteria, smaller groups,
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
that classroom
Classrooms.
Mhm,
in the morning.
right.
Pertaining to an issue that we were discussing.
Well, would it not be permissible to vote on it and have it in the record
Sure.
so that we will know from the future as to eating or whatever?
Right.
Would that not be appropriate, Madam
That's
Chair?
fine.
We can,
Well, I'll certainly make the
Let's
motion.
go.
okay.
May I have a second, please?
There you go.
That's it.
All in favor, state aye.
What's the month?
To allow
The
students,
motion got
to,
allowed to eat.
school students to grab and go. All students.
What,
All students.
all students.
Students grab and go.
May I have a motion at this time to allow all students in Hertford County Public Schools to grab and go for breakfast in the morning?
I think that motion, Madam Chair.
I second.
All in favor, state aye. Excuse me.
That's if the school system makes it available, correct?
Yes. If the school system makes it available. Don't we make it available?
Yes.
Was that your question?
I don't have a question.
I thought you were doing this, you made it available for your.
Right. And,
Okay, let's move it on.
okay,
All in favor? All opposed? Motion has passed.
okay.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, we do need a motion for the bail schedule, and I would say this with the bail schedule, we'll bring back to you every year the proposed bail schedule. It may not change, but we do need to bring that to you every year for approval, and we'll add to that breakfast in the classroom and how we're feeding kids as we approve the bail schedule moving forward. So we do need a motion for the recommendation here to add 15 minutes to our instructional day, ending school at 3:15, starting at 8 o'clock.
May I have a motion at this time to approve the 2023-24 bail schedule as presented by administration, please?
So moved, Madam Chair.
May I have a second?
Second motion.
All in favor, state aye.
Uh,
All opposed? The bail schedule for 2023-24 has been approved at this time. Thank you. Now we'll move back up to 2.4, our media coordinator recognition. Ms. Baker.
Good evening, Chair Porter, board members, and Dr. Pratt. It is a pleasure that I stand before you tonight to recognize our most phenomenal media coordinators. As you are well aware, April is National Library Month, and April 4th was set aside as Media Coordinators Day. This particular day, we provided a special luncheon for our media coordinators. At this time, I would like to recognize each media coordinator for their hard work and dedication to our county, and to present them with a small gift from our district. Carol Swain, Hertford County High School. Letitia Artis, Hertford County Middle School. Amber Moore, Hosky Elementary School. Kimberly Menborn, Riverview Elementary School. Elizabeth Grimes, Fairfield Primary School. And I don't think she's here yet, but this is from Ms. Linda Walden, who represents CS Brown. She's not an actual media coordinator, but she's filling in the time being that if there's a vacancy. So we'd also like to recognize her as well.
Can we just say that?
All right.
Let me move out.
Ms. Walden, we just recognized you. Went to me today.
On behalf of the board, to our media coordinators, we know that you and your media center is the heartbeat of the school. We really appreciate everything that you do on a daily basis. We know that we don't see you that much because you're stuck behind a stack of books. But thank you so much. We are aware of how important that media center and you are to all of our schools in Hertford County. Thank you. Let's give them another big thank you. May we have our assistant principals up at this time?
Good evening, Board Chair, members of the board, Dr. Pratt. March is a time to celebrate the great profession of assistant principal. National Assistant Principals Week was April the 3rd through the 7th. Our assistant principals make a difference every day in the lives of our staff, students, and staff. As I call your name, please come up to receive your recognition, Dr. Pratt. We have Ms. Cynthia Riddick, Fairfield Primary School. Is Lauren fishing, especially cooking the really big fish. Struggle of water, it really only weighs 1 pound. Next, we have Miss Dee Dee Beverly, Ahoskie Elementary. Is the assistant principal since 2019. She previously taught 2nd grade at Fairfield Primary School. Next, we have Miss Lucille Anthony, Riverview Elementary. We're so elated to be the assistant principal at Riverview Elementary School because they are a school on the move. We have Miss Michelia Smith, Hertford County Middle School. And Miss Smith is happy because she is left-handed. We have Dr. Jeffrey Wilson, Hertford County Middle School. Mr. Wilson, a fun fact about him, he graduated from Mortuary School and he has a diploma in funeral directing. He has worked for a Christian home for the last 8 years, part-time. Miss Patricia Rockford, Hertford County High School. Mrs. Wofford was honored with being chosen at East Carolina University to be the member of the Carrot Leadership Academy, and she received her Master's of School Administration in May of 2022. Corey Hines, Hertford County High School. For the summer of his junior high school year, Mr. Hines spent 4 weeks on the set in Brooklyn, New York, watching Spike Lee direct his famous film, Do the Right Thing.
All right.
Let's give out. One picture.
Man.
Thank you.
Might be better. More room back here.
Get behind me. I ain't in trouble. You know what I'm gonna do? Next one.
1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you all so much.
Miss one of the attributes of Mr. Hines.
What's that?
And even though he was in New York with Spike Lee, he was also the head drum major.
NC Central.
Yeah.
Ah,
No.
Okay.
we know hold together.
Well, we all know, to our, administrators, how hard your jobs are at the, at times. And, we're aware sometimes you feel by yourself in making your decisions. But we also know that in Hertford County, our administrators put forth their best effort for safety, security, and curriculum. And you give it all that you have. And that's all we can expect. So we know that you're doing the very best that you can do. And we wish you the very best in the upcoming months. And we thank you for a job well done to all of you. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on to our introduction of newly had, or should we go on with the bulletin boards at this time?
2 point, bulletin boards.
Bulletin board 2.6.
Yep.
Good evening, Madam Chair Porter.
Good evening.
Board members and Dr. Pratt, hope you're all doing well. It is my pleasure to present to you this evening our bulletin boards. We have in our foyer, well, I'll do this one first. The one in here that we have in our boardroom is presented by the Mighty Middle School. Mrs. Sherry Williams, our art teacher, and our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students have come together to form this fabulous board in our boardroom. It's a representation of many lessons about African culture. Our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders studied and created these 3D masks that are centered around all African countries. When it all can't fit on one board, as you see, it has to be fabulous. So it's incredibly impressive that our young students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at the middle school have studied the cultures in Africa, and they are able to make such beautiful artwork out of it. Thank you, middle school. We also have the HCPS, where we learn, grow, and blossom. That board was also presented by the Mighty Middle School. The board in the lobby reflects our continued excitement for new beginnings with Wings of Spring. We are committed as a district to remain focused on learning, growing, and blossoming. Our continued growth is to be seen and recognized in Hertford County. Again, thank you, Hertford County Middle School.
We thank you for such beautiful boards at this time. Thank Ms. Williams and the students, staff, everyone who helped. Love to see those boards where they integrate social studies, art, and I'm sure the children enjoyed it. And it was such a learning experience because look at the many masks that they have. That would be a learning experience for most of us on this board. So the integration was beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much for your beautiful artwork.
Ms. Porter,
Yes, sir.
The ditto, what you're saying is when a bulletin board is just an extension of the instruction program.
That's correct.
And that's what that is all about.
That's
what you're
exactly.
saying.
That's right. Beautiful. All right, we are introduction of newly hired employees. Mrs. Freeman.
Good evening, board chair, members of the board, Dr. Pratt. Tonight, we would like to introduce our new employees. We have Ms. Marichal Kamei. She's a teacher at Fairfield Elementary School. Ms. Kamei says one of the most important moments in her life was when Mrs. Shields interviewed her and she became a teacher at Fairfield Primary School. Ms. Natasha McIntosh. She's a teacher at Ahoskie Elementary School. Ms. McIntosh enjoys cooking for her family. Welcome. Ms. Jocelyn Antonio. She's a teacher at Fairfield Primary School. She likes to dance and sing with her students, and she is grateful for the opportunity to teach at Fairfield Primary School.
On behalf of the board, we want to welcome you to the Hertford County Public Schools family. We are honored that you chose to join our family. If there's anything that we can do to assist you, please let us know. And again, we welcome you. Thank you.
Also at this time, Dr. Wilson has stepped in. We just saw your name and recognized you, but come on now.
Man, I'm in the town.
Thank you.
Dr. Wilson, thank you for all you do from our board. And we understand the challenges and also the good times. As an administrator, we thank you and wish you the best. And
Ms. Porter.
yes,
Ms.
sir.
Porter, going back to the young lady who loved dancing. I'm assuming it's your homeland. Your dancing. Is dancing from your homeland?
Yes.
Maybe sometime in the future we'll be able to see some of that.
That's exactly.
Convocation.
Right.
Yeah, convocation.
That's
Yeah. We got some dances we'll show you. All hands right here. I'll see this. About that. That's school year. That's good. I think it'll be different.
It will.
It will.
All right, we'll move on to You throw me off.
Might as well laugh this whole life. It's going.
That's exactly.
That's right.
That's right.
We can laugh.
Do we have any public input at this time?
No, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman. We'll move on to 3.3, retest the summer program. Mrs. Pate.
Good evening once again, Chair Porter, members of the board, and Dr. Pratt. It is my pleasure to introduce to you tonight our summer testing program. You will notice on the board, we have some dates for schools. Before we lead our attention there, I would like to just give you a preface to the background information. For the 2022-23 school year, we may elect to administer the end of grade test and end of course test during summer programs. The scores are derived from the re-administration will not be included in the school's growth analysis for school accountability or for educator effectiveness. However, the higher score will be included in proficiency calculations for school accountability within the current accountability school year. I will provide with you an overview of the program and let you take a look at some of the programs that we're offering, locations, and times. The important factor to take into consideration here is that with the summer remediation, it is imperative that we give that to our students. One, to help close gaps, two, to keep them learning. We also are able to use that if students improve their learning and overall district achievement, it will count towards the district's report card score. So it does increase our score if we are able to re-administer EOGs and EOCs. They are included in the calculations for school accountability for the summer, okay? If you would now direct your attention to our board, you will notice that all of our campuses, we're only involving 2 of our campuses. We have K-5 camp, that's going to be held at Bearfield Primary. All 6-12 camps will be held at Hertford County High School. In the areas we have here, the schools will be retesting, remediating, and retesting reading, math, and science grades 3 through 8 will have reading, math, and science. 5 and 8 are my only 2 with science. We will have 3rd grade math remediation camp, and then you see that's going to be June 8th through the 13th. Time is 8 to 1 o'clock. Read to Achieve camp for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade students will begin on June 14th from 8 to 2:30. A certain amount of hours have to be included in the Read to Achieve. We will retest the last day of each camp. So we will retest June 23rd and again after the end at Read to Achieve on June 29th. Those dates are also on your packet. You have a pamphlet in your folder. Okay. Riverview Elementary will be offering 3rd, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, 4th and 5th grade remediation with math and reading, and also with the science for 5th grade. You'll see the times and dates there. Middle school, same thing, reading, math, science, and that will be housed at the Hertford County High School. The dates and time are the same as the elementary school from 8 to 1, June 12th through 23rd. The CS Brown and Hertford County High School will be remediating and retesting Math 1, English 2, Math 3, and Biology. We'll also have some credit recovery times built in. You see the dates there, and the times remain the same from 8 to 1. The early college, same thing as the Hertford County High School and CS Brown, and you see the dates are a little different because early college school is over earlier. So they will be in session from May 22nd to the 26th. And then again, freshman orientation will be June 8th through 29th. Freshman orientation is the only time that's varied there, and that starts at 8 and concludes at 3. You'll notice on the bottom, and you have this in your pamphlet as well, that we have the EOG retest dates, EOC retest dates, and makeup testing dates built in. We also have a fabulous opportunity that's being offered to us from Chowan University this year. And it's going to be offered to the elementary grade levels 3 through 5, at middle school 6-8, and high school 9-12. We have kind of named it Leaning Into Tomorrow. So summer camp is lit at CU, which is Chowan University. So we're gonna light it up. It's gonna be lit with enrichment activities. That's gonna include the July 10th through 14th date, starting at 9 a.m. and ending at 1, and breakfast and lunch will be served there as well. Are there any questions about dates, times, or anything with this summer camps?
I would just like to say it's good to see the partnership
Yes, ma'am.
with Siobhan coming in with your lit camp. Pretty interesting. Okay,
And you will rest assured our students will know what that means.
okay,
We're gonna light it up and they're gonna be lit.
all right.
Ms.
Mr. Wendy Hall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to go back to your lit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
You got no problem.
Yeah, that's right.
Will we provide transportation?
We will provide transportation.
Okay. We will make sure that parents are notified
Yes,
that
sir.
transportation, and apparently lunch will be provided.
Lunch will be provided. Yes, sir.
By the program. That's outstanding.
And what we will do is after the dates are approved, we will start our publicizing it and get it out there, marketing, and get some people signing up for it.
Great. The other question I have, and just for clarity,
Sure.
when you started off, you said that the summer program results would not be used for growth, but would be used for proficiency.
Right.
Now, does that not make, is that not odd? Now, I know where it's coming from.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
right.
coming from
That's
state
where
board.
it's coming from.
Yeah.
But once again, if we do the job that we think we're gonna do with these children, the growth as far as it being a score,
It's gonna be huge.
yeah, and for it not to be used in some
Right.
form of fashion,
I understand.
I have a hard time in digesting that.
Right.
And knowing what we're trying to do. The other thing is that summer school, and you can correct, program that we offer, Reading to Achieve, is all volunteer?
Volunteer for the parent to choose to go?
Yes.
Yes, Read to Achieve is
Okay.
this voluntary program.
Is that not an issue? I mean, we're right back at the same thing again, when these kids need to be there, but are not required
Right.
to be there.
Right.
For help. I just find that to be odd. And of course, the General Assembly, as we speak now, is dealing with the same issue.
It is
As for growth, 80-20,
proficiency.
right?
Right.
And this thing about whether or not they can be required to
Opt
attend
out.
or opt out.
Right. That's right.
I personally feel there should be no opt out. Our
Yeah.
kids need as much reinforcement
Mhm.
as we can give them over the summer.
That's right. And so they don't experience even more of a summer slide. If they're already non-proficient,
There you
they
go.
need to be here as much as we can get them here to help them reach proficiency. Or not, even if they can't reach proficiency, they can make strides to get there. That's right.
And that's my concern, who are we talking to up there? Are we talking to our reps about representatives about children?
Right.
Because
It's a tough call.
It's
it
a
is a
tough
tough call. And and this thing about required and opt out,
Right.
and then not use the results for growth. But we'll use it for proficiency.
Right,
That just
a
makes
part
sense.
of that, if I may add, and Dr. Pratt, you can add on to this, a part of that is also to help the accountability of the summer school programs. If we can, during a summer school program, help get a child to proficiency, it's showing the efficacy of the program. So that's another part of it.
Right.
Not
But you don't
necessarily-
get credit for growth.
Right,
That's my point.
that's right, I understand, I
You still
understand,
don't get credit for
and
growth.
even if you did, it would be 20%.
Only 20% of the school. Anyway, somewhere along the line, I was thinking, Dr. Pratt, that we need to let our people know
Mhm.
in Raleigh that
There are issues,
we need some
calculations.
we need some help. Beyond dollars and cents sometimes to help kids, make sure the kids are there. Just like we're gonna provide transportation for this lit program. and the lunch, it's the same thing.
Mhm.
We're giving them everything they need to get there, so let's get them there and get some remediation and intervention.
Right, and hopefully, I know our notice to parents won't be as soft as optional, that we will highly recommend that their
Well, I know you
child
do,
attend.
but it's not,
outside. It's not required.
not law,
Right.
that's still not required. I find that hard to digest, so I'll say it again.
Very.
Okay,
So are there any more questions?
hard work we're gonna put in, and those features.
Need to make a
Staff
motion.
members.
Need a recommendation?
May I have a motion at this time to recommend the summer program retest?
Yeah, but you approve the superintendent recommendation.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second,
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Motion has been made to approve the superintendent's recommendations for the retest
Thank you, Chair. Porter.
summer program. Thank you.
In your package, you have, I believe it's probably just in yours, Chair Porter, or maybe Ms. Weaver has it. It is the summer program plan that does need signatures tonight.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to our resignations, retirements, and transfers. We're gonna block this together,
Yes.
okay? So we'll go from resignations, retirements, transfers on down until we finish with substitute addition. Yeah. Without stopping.
Good evening, Board Chair, members of the board, Dr. Pratt, you have before you 4.1, resignations, retirements, and transfers. 4.2, recommendation, certified and classified. 4.3, additional employment, and 4.4, substitute addition.
Are there any questions or concerns? May I have a motion at this time to approve the request from administration with resignation, certified and classified recommendations, additional employment, substitute additions at this time? May I have a recommendation?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Motion. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Recommendations have been approved by administration for employment. Okay, 4.5, the recruitment and retention bonuses, Dr. Pratt.
Yes, so we have a PowerPoint to go with this one as well. Yeah. Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and School Board, tonight I bring to you a recommendation to approve a recruitment and retention bonus for our employees for the 2023-2024 school year. This bonus will follow the bonus that you approved several months ago, that each certified staff receives $3,000. Each classified staff will receive $1,500. They will receive 2 payments in October and November. So if staff return next school year, we're using that as a retention bonus. They will receive that in October and in May. If they stay on through May, they also would get that same amount. Well, we also are using this as a recruitment tool to recruit for our vacancies within the district for next school year. So anyone new to the district will also receive the $3,000 and the $1,500 if they are classified. And we are using ESSER dollars to support this in amount of around $2.5 million. And so that will be a total of bonus for this year and next year of $3.7 million that we will give to staff as incentive, as a recruitment and retention bonus. So the motion, the recommendation is for the school board to approve this recommendation.
Are there questions or comments?
I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it. If you're ready for a motion.
I'm ready for a
You
motion.
have.
May I have a second?
You got a second.
All in favor, state aye. All opposed? The recommendation has been approved to recruit for the recruit retention bonuses for 2023 and the 2024 school year by administration.
Check, but I'll just.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sure
We're
would be
working.
nice to be a second check, but I'll let it go. I'll say that every time.
Yeah,
I'll continue to say that.
we're working on that for you.
But come Saturday, we have a drop there Saturday.
We do.
This is a part of our.
Recruitment.
Okay.
Absolutely. We can start promoting it.
That's right.
Do we see smiling faces?
I might put on a mustache and put myself.
Okay, if we move on to five, if it's not too late,
So,
if it's not too late.
it's not too late.
That's it, gonna be out.
541, Mrs. Martin, we're glad to see you back with us. So, James,
Good evening, Chair Porter, members of the board, Dr. Pratt. You have before you budget amendment number 2 for your approval.
are there questions or concerns about budget amendment number 2? May I have a motion for approval?
So move.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, state aye. All opposed? Budget amendment number 2 has been approved. Ms. Martin, physical audit report.
Audit report that we completed for the fiscal year 21-22, and presented tonight by Representative from Thompson Price, Scott Adams and Company.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. So, you should have two documents. One is the blue binder is the full audit report. The one in the black binder is the summary of some of the key points in the audit report. So we're going to use the presentation summary one, the black binder, because unless you want to read through this blue one, that we'll be here 3 weeks.
We'll go with this. May I have a motion to go?
I appreciate that, because I got 4 hours to ride back, and so, but.
We'll help you out. Thank you.
I'll take this short and sweet, as best we can. I know this is not real fun stuff. I don't dance, you know, or anything. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do, right?
That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Stuart Hill with Thompson Price Scott and Adams, and we do appreciate the opportunity to provide your audit report for the fiscal year end June 30, 2022. On this presentation summary, right after the table of contents of page 1 of the letter. That's a letter that's the required communication to governance. This was where we tell you if you had a bunch of stuff that was bad and hopefully some stuff that was good, all your stuff was good. So that's, we're not going to have to read through this. You can all read it at your leisure if you want. I will go on, talk about a couple things in the letter. On the first page in the letter, right after it says significant audit findings, you have different things going. In the year 2022, we adopted, or you adopted, the GASB statement 87, which is leases. So we just want to make sure that you were aware that there was a change in the way we project the leases in the audit report from now on. And that was required to be adopted. I'm gonna jump over a little bit on page 3. There's gonna be a new one for this coming year, so we want to make you aware of that. And that's on it's about third paragraph, and it's a GASB number 96, that's subscription-based information technology arrangements. They're gonna do some implementations of different ways to report that as well. We don't even know what all that's gonna be just yet, but be aware that 2023, this year that you're in right now is gonna have to be, in your audit report, it's gonna have to be, this has to be adopted for that. So that's just giving a heads up. The only thing that was anything in close to a finding of anything is the timeliness of the audit report, and we all know what happened with that, and that's already been explained, and it's already been you're working on fixing it. So and with us all, we all try to get on that. So as far as the letter is concerned, it's a good audit, and we're moving on. And first of all, if you have any questions while we're going, you can stop me, or if you want to wait till the end, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Might not know the answer, but I'll say I don't know, but I'll get you an answer.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
On page 4 in this presentation memory, you can see 5 columns. That represents 5 years worth of some of the key items. I'm not going to read all these. We put this in there because they are key items, and you can see a trend of how you've done over the last 5 years. And these numbers are what goes in the charts that follows. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so we like to use the charts. So if you go on over to page 5, you can see that top, we start at the top is an analysis of the fund balance of the general fund. And you can see that it's been kind of consistent through the 5 years. It's about $2.8 million is your total fund balance as of June 30th, 2022. And the restricted part of that is about 13,000. And those as far as the 5-year trend, it's kind of consistent. The chart at the bottom of the page is an analysis of unassigned fund balance as a percentage of your general fund expenditures. And you can see how that chart goes as to what those percentages are. So you can see that it dipped down a little bit in 2022. That's your unassigned fund balance. If your total fund balance is consistent and you have assigned a bigger portion in 2022 than the prior years. And that's not a bad thing. You do have your fund balance. You want to have a nest egg, but you want to use your funds is what you're supposed to, that's what they're for, you know. So that's not necessarily a negative thing. You don't want it to keep on going, you know, too much, but anywhere in between where it is in 2022 and the largest one is fine, you know, that's not a big deal. On page 6, the chart at the top is an analysis of your revenues over or under expenditures before any transfers from other funds. And you can see those numbers on the general fund is about a $35,000 deficit. The capital outlay is $13,127, and the child nutrition is $553,757. That's the amounts coming off of those that data sheet at the beginning of page 4. The chart at the bottom was page 6. The child nutrition net assets, and that $1,120 net assets in 2022. And you can see the numbers going back all the way through 2018. On page 7, we've got an analysis of the cash fund balance at the top. Those numbers are down at the bottom. If you look at the first column, it's by the funds. And you can see the dollar amounts of your cash balances. And then the chart on the bottom is a fund balance net position. And those numbers also are at the bottom. So you can see by fund what your cash balances and your fund balances are. On page 8, at the top, we've got a breakdown of the general fund revenues, and you can see that for the Hertford County is 4.3 million in 2022, and for the fines and forfeitures, it's 89,000. And the breakdown of the general fund expenditures at the bottom, you can see the items there. The 73% of the system-wide support is the largest category of expenditures, followed by the instruction, and then the other two categories are 0.7 and 1.1%. That's what makes up your category of expenditures. On page 9, this is the chart that tells you how much state public school fund allocations you got. You can see the $24,493, $24,493,124 from the state, and $4,041,568 from the federal at the bottom. Well, that's the key items that we put in the presentation summary. Glad to have any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions, Ms. Howard?
Just put them on the chair. Help me, sorry. Going back to page 5. Is this saying that we're using more of our fund balance to balance the budget? Is that the dip? Is that what they're saying here?
What it is okay, so you have a budget, and you have your the amount you use, you have the budget, and if you assign certain parts of your budget, you've already committed it. You may not have spent it yet, but you have committed it or assigned it, you know. And so the part that's just kind of there for whatever is the unassigned part. So you've already committed the percentage of your fund balance a little more so than you have in those other 4 years.
Yeah. Mr. Hall, I think you're on a right track here. This is a conversation we've been having as a senior team and with finance, with department, about including fund balance and how much can we continue to do that to balance our budget? And that is going to be the big question over the next several years as we move forward as a district.
Thank you, sir. That's exactly what I was thinking. You know,
Yeah.
We're using more and more, but we're not building it up.
That's right.
You know, we aren't getting the resources back in. And I just have a quick question, just for clarity. You don't look at supplant supplement issues when we do. Supplant and supplement issues, do you look at that in this report? Any funds are being supplanted?
No,
And this,
no, not in this one.
thank you.
Are there any questions, comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I hope y'all have a nice evening.
Have a safe trip back. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
We'll be down there to play you all again.
Don't beat it too bad.
We try not.
Ms. Hall.
Yeah, we can go back to that.
Okay,
They're good for that.
Ms. Martin.
I have before you the proposed budget summary.
You need a motion to.
Oh, yeah.
To accept the order report.
Thought I made that motion. Motion to approve the audit for 2022 as presented.
May I have a second?
Second motion.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion has passed and approved, it has been approved by the board to accept it and approve it. Thank you.
You have before you the proposed budget for the fiscal year 23-24. Includes the request from the county for $4,403,318. This is an increase of $137,748. It includes appropriated fund balance of $1,682,500. It also includes a request from the county for capital outlay of $1 million and no appropriation of fund balance. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yes, Mr. Shields.
When I was looking at this thing, there's an auxiliary services director, and that's a different salary figure than we've been having in the past. I don't have the page number that it was on, but it's like 79,005. Is that a new position? Or is that just reallocated from somewhere else?
That is a new position that we're recommending to add based on the new organizational chart. As we move forward over the next several years, we're beginning the process of looking at our facilities, doing a facility audit and determining kind of next steps with all our facilities and what improvements we need over the next several years. And so this position will be critical in helping manage and supervise that proposal that you will hear from us over the next several months.
Okay.
Other comments?
I'm not through. I
Oh,
have a few more things, Ms. Porter.
I see your list. It's don't stop.
You're fine. So it looks like we were gonna spend, you said 1.6 million in fund balance?
That is budgeted to. balance
Yes,
the
ma'am.
budget.
If we do that, what's that gonna leave our fund balance? If everything goes like it, what would the balance be at the end of 23? 24, 20, whatever it is, 24.
About $1 million from the 2-point-something million.
Less than 400,000.
Less than
At
400.
the end of 2024, if all this money is spent and all of the projected fund balance used as for this fiscal year, plus if all of that appropriated is spent, that's 400,000.
Okay, that's a little concerning to me. And I have
Yeah,
one,
and
I
that's-
have one more question. As I was going through this thing also, there was $53,000 spent in overtime. Do we know what that's for? Is that, my question is it a scheduling issue? Or is it additional time that we spent? I know we had to pay people. I'm not trying to get out of not paying people, but is a possibility we could eliminate some of the overtime by scheduling differently? I guess that's a question for you, Dr. Pratt, or is it, or we're just gonna accumulate the overtime anyway? Because I don't remember. We might have always paid overtime, but it didn't catch my eye until this year, so I missed it for 20 years, so I picked it up on this year, my first year back.
Yeah. I think that's a budget item that's in the budget annually, just in case we have to pay overtime, correct? Is it something different? Overtime, yes, we do. In certain positions and certain times. So we need to budget for that up front instead of on the back end when we know that it will be some situations where we have to pay employees overtime.
But are we not more likely to spend the budget if it's there? If we approve to spend the overtime, are we not more likely to spend it than if we were, if you'd have to come back and ask us to spend it? That would be my question, because it seems like to me, I work a lot of people, I have a lot of employees, and the way I work around I don't know if this is possible. That's why I'm asking, because my business is entirely different than yours.
Mm.
But in our particular situation, sometimes we can do it by scheduling differently. that would save time, and where somebody wouldn't go into overtime, you might not let them work that time. And I mean, I don't know. That's my question, because
Right.
I don't know.
So it just depends on the position and who we're dealing with. If we're dealing with someone in maintenance and we have emergency over the weekend and they have to come in,
I understand
then
that.
we pay them or we give them comp time and things of that nature. So it just depends on the individual employee.
Okay.
So I mean, it's.
That was my question. I mean, that when I was asked, when I was talking to Mr. Hall about it earlier, I said, I understand if the freezer breaks down and the cooler
Right.
breaks down, you got to get it fixed. I understand that. That happens with me all the time.
Mhm.
But if it's because we're gonna paint this wall and we don't have enough time to paint this wall before we go into overtime, are we gonna paint from there to there and pay them 10 hours overtime, or are we gonna say, let's come back next week?
Oh, no.
And we won't. You know what I'm
Absolutely
saying?
not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
All right.
Absolutely not.
And what my last question is, I noticed that there's, last year's budget, we budgeted $150,000 for nursing, and this year we're only budgeting 50. Is that because we got additional money from the state, $100,000 from the state?
That's in,
Or is it because we don't have the nurses?
that's in Fund 8, that was grant funded.
Mhm.
Okay,
We had grant funded, we've always had the 50,000.
Right.
And then after COVID, we received the additional 100,000.
that's great. I was just wondering why it was $100,000.
If-
Why we were spending $100,000 less. I was hoping that's what it was, but I wasn't sure.
But we don't know that we'll receive that 100,000 in next year. But we're expecting to receive the $50,000.
Right.
But not the 100,000.
Right,
But we budgeted for 5 nurses
okay, all right,
from various funds.
okay. That's all my questions.
For this year, one for.
Yes, sir.
To help with that, in the house budget. A significant amount of money is in there for school nurse, social workers, and school psychologists.
Mhm.
And that's in the house budget.
Mhm.
And the Senate, of course, it's over in the Senate side now. But being safe, I understand what you're saying, but I would bet money that we will see additional resources for school nurse, or the flexibility to use some of those dollars another way, but I'm positive that that's gonna happen for school nurse. I don't know what you're hearing from your folks, Dr. Pratt,
Right.
from the association. Are you hearing something different?
No, we're not. We're hopeful.
Right, right, we're all hopeful.
Mhm.
And there was something else, no shield.
Fund down.
Well, yeah,
Fund balance.
that fund balance there, it's down around $400.
That scares me.
That is.
It is.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, that's scary.
Well-
We need to look at this budget as we go through the year and come back in January or thereafter before. And look at it, cause 400 grand left. I've been in business a long time. I don't remember it being 400.
That's
Nowhere
right.
near.
We're very concerned about that, and that's what we've been having
Yeah.
conversations around, but we also have to have opportunities to talk to county commissioners around this as well. Because this will mean our ask of them next school year will be much higher than what it's been in the past. I think over these last several years, we kind of saved the county commissioners by using our fund balance. But we're at the critical point now that we're not going to be able to support these additional dollars in our budget. So the ask will be higher next year of the county commissioners, and we need to begin that conversation with them now. We've done our due diligence more so than we probably should have, but now it's time to ask.
And just to make sure that all understand, what we're doing for retention and bonus monies
That's right.
has nothing at all to do with local funding.
That's right.
That's ESSA 3 funds.
Mhm.
And we would lose ESSA 3 funds 2024.
Yes, September.
September.
Is it September?
So that had nothing to do with this.
No.
That's right.
Deficit, but not deficit, but this amount of money that we're looking at.
Mhm.
Now, if I'm correct, and help me with that, when we said overtime, we're talking about classified employees.
Correct.
All right,
Correct.
let's make sure we understand that. We're not talking about contract employees.
That's right.
We're talking about classified employees.
That's right. Not exempt employees.
Oh, okay, now, but I'm through. Make sure now. I don't want anybody to get mixed up with our ESSA monies And this fund about a different possibility of it dipping around 400 grand.
That's right.
We cannot recommend. We can. And the county commissioners are going to have to come down and rescue.
That's right.
Sometimes I think in the past, we have made up some monies in the past because we haven't been able to fill positions. And
Yep.
so we've been able to save some money like that, but that's not helping the school district to not hire a person to save money. That's actually hurting, but that's where we've made up some money in our fund balance in the past.
And there's the time to talk about it.
It is.
There's the time to talk about it in open or closed. There's the time to talk about it.
That's right.
He says openness, so we can talk.
But that's perfect.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Are there any other comments? Thank you, and I see you will have a thank you on the back of your list receipt.
Yeah, I did. I just have questions because when I spent some time going through it, because it's just so critical, you know, and I got concerned when I saw the fund balance dip, and it really does. And I'm sure Miss
Yes.
Martin was, I mean, she understands that
Yeah.
because we've had a right decent fund balance in the past. But we've been told to spend it, so I guess we're doing what we're been asked to do.
I hope we don't dip below 400.
Yeah. It's time for,
But we're in trouble.
that's right.
Well, that means one HVAC goes out and we're out of, I mean,
We hope.
yeah.
But we're gonna do. it. We're gonna be good stewards of the funds. that we
Absolutely.
receive,
That's right.
That we service kids.
That's right. All right. Just need a motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
May I have a motion to recommend the administration's 2023-24 proposed budget to approve?
Madam Chair, if I'm in order, I make a motion that we recommend as presented by the administration, the 23-24 school budget.
May I have a second?
Motion to
Yes, sir.
I second it.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It had the 2023-2024 proposed budget as presented by administration has been approved. Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Dr. Pratt, I have a question for you about the budget, if I can. We have not gotten an allotment from the county as of yet, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so,
So this budget is due to them by the 15th of May, I believe, or the 1st of May,
15.
the 15th of May. So we'll be sending this over to them.
okay. You just need to make sure that they understand that we've spent all our fund balance as they've requested.
That's right. We'll draft the letter to them to go along with that.
Have a tear drawn on the page or
Yeah.
something.
I'm good at that.
Okay,
Thank you, Ms. Martin. It's great to have you back. I'll see you back. Ride by your house every day.
thank you. We'll move on to 5.4, 850 North Carolina 461 property. Dr. Pratt.
Yes, for this property, as the board is aware that we put this property out for a bid. The bid went closed on April the 15th. The highest bid was made by Michael Hughes on March 28th at $18,950. No upset bids was received by April the 15th. Therefore, we have created a resolution for the board to accept the offer of $18,950 offered by Michael Hughes.
Comments, statements, questions?
You got a great deal.
Great deal.
Need a motion to approve the
Amen.
resolution as presented.
May I have a motion at this time to approve the 850 North Carolina 461 property, that has been discussed and, submitted by Dr. Pratt.
Madam Chair, if I'm in order, I make a motion that pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 115C-518, we adopt the resolution which accepts the offer of $18,950 for the sale of the property at 850 North Carolina 461, Ahoskie, North Carolina 27910, and authorize the superintendent, chairperson, and board attorneys to negotiate, sign, and complete any necessary paperwork to complete the sale.
May I have a second?
Second
please?
motion.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Were you gonna say something? All opposed? Motion has passed. Okay. Now we'll move on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Vice Chair, board members, tonight I have a brief update from the superintendent. Sunday, the board chair and the vice chair attended Jalen Carey's funeral. And so at this time, we would just like for our Hertford County family to keep him in your the family in your thoughts and prayers over the next couple of weeks. So thank you, Mr. Murray and his staff. They did a great job in supporting the students during this tragic event that happened. So we appreciate your leadership and your counselor, Ms. Warford, as well, who did an outstanding job in supporting the family during this tragic. All right. Would like to also recognize C.S. Brown for a job well done in the Battle of the Book competition, in the regional competition. They came in 4th place. And so kudos to the C.S. Brown Battle of the Books team. And so they competed with several schools. And as you can see the score up there, they were very competitive in many of the rounds and with 1st place for a great deal, 15 rounds, 1st place, 15 rounds. And so we're extremely proud of the team at CS Brown. Job well done. Thank you, sir, for your leadership with those students and your staff as well. May is coming faster than we know. So we'll start our end of course testing at the early college high school. So what you see in front of you is their testing schedule, which starts on May 11th and end on May 18th. They have 4 days of testing with 1 day of makeup. So we're excited about our students beginning the first round of their end of integrated assessments. The next schedule is for the traditional high school in CS Brown. They start their testing at the end of the month on May 31st and end on June 7th. And those are the days that they're testing there. They'll start off with Math 1 on the first day, English 2 on the second day, and then they'll start biology on the third day along with makeups to get the makeups done before June 7th. The elementary schools and the middle school will begin their testing on May 25th. They will start with the science end of grade, move into the math on the 31st and ELA on June 1st. And then they will have makeup testing on June 2nd. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month for May. So as we go into the month of May, please be aware that we will need to recognize that there are many of our students dealing with a variety of mental health issues and families, and that this is the month to recognize that and understand that that we all do really need support in this area. So we're celebrating mental health awareness for the month of May. Upcoming events, progress reports on May 17th, and then we have the Special Olympics this Friday, the 28th from 8:30 to 2 o'clock at the high school. That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Pratt. We'll move on, Mr. Shields.
I don't have too much to say other than with the events that have happened in our school district lately, I am heartbroken and really disturbed by the violence that's going on in our communities. I think we all need to work towards teaching our children how to deal when they have a conflict. I think we need to work on this as a school district. We need to do it in every school. There are all kinds of stuff online that you can look up on conflict resolution from elementary school. We are not the first district that's had problems with gun violence. And all schools all across this country that have had problems with that have put stuff online and videos and stuff like that that you can look at that talks about what to say to children, how to deal with if you do have a conflict, from simple stuff in the elementary school to who has the red magic marker. I want that red magic marker, and talk about how you teach children at a young age on how to, if you have an issue, talk it out and work through it, because we can't afford to lose students or staff or individuals or parents or anybody to this kind of violence. It just doesn't make sense. I enjoyed what Mr. Hall said during closed session, which wasn't a closed session item, but his point was, what do we do? What do we do as parents? How do we deal with this? But we all have to do it together. You know, this is a community issue that we have to wrestle with and talk about and not shy away from, and tell our kids the right stuff and wrong stuff, tell our parents the right stuff and wrong stuff. When I hear people that I respect and they tell their children, don't hit somebody unless they hit you first, that's the wrong answer. You know, you should never strike somebody back. You know, talk about it, figure out what you got to do. And I don't know, I'm just really very emotional about it, because we have gone through some tough times, and we're going to go through some more tough times, but we just need to be able to talk about it and deal with it, because I know you ain't supposed to say this and pray about it, because we got to figure out how to get our kids back on an even keel and deal with some of the mental health issues that are out there. You know, I'm through, Ms. Porter, but I'm just heartbroken for all these stuff that's going on, because it's just not right.
Thank you, Mr. Shields. Mr. Deloach.
Thank you, Ms. Porter. I certainly agree with the comments made by Mr. Shields. You know, my heart goes out to the ones that have had loss, not just this year, but this thing has been going on for 3 or 4 years now, maybe even longer than that. And yeah, I just don't know where the answer is, y'all. I don't know where it is. I don't know how we get back to normal. To be a child today is something we can't even fathom. The conflict that they have to deal with, the confusion they have to deal with, and how they resolve it and how they have to resolve it. I'm just glad I don't live in this environment. I don't know where the answer is. You know, people tend to look to churches, they look to pastors, they look to parents, they look to schools. I don't know. I mean, if anybody knows, I would love to hear some answers. But you know, if you believe in the Bible talks about the end of time and it getting worse and worse. But this got to stop, because we're losing a ton of kids all the time, not just here, all over. Anyway, let me go on and say a few other things, but that's where my heart is. So my heart is broken because if I had a child entering school today, you know, we have no idea what that child is going to confront. No idea. And you know, I used to hear horror stories about parents who say, well, I'm afraid to send my child to school. But the reality of that is almost true in some situations. You don't know. Children don't have to be at fault to be isolated or be the victim at all. You know, when we were growing up, to talk about conflict resolution, there were always arguments. There was always something to discuss. I wouldn't tell a child today, I wouldn't say, you know, I would tell him to be afraid of an argument because you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know how it's going to turn out. Outside the school, inside the school, in church, outside the school, Walmart, it doesn't matter where. So anyway, let me go on and say what else I want to say. But my heart is broken and I don't know what to do. I certainly want to thank Ms. Quinn, and I think the new time schedule, I think it's very appropriate. I did not and was not aware that we had our schools, as many of them, on as different schedules as possible, almost. And I think it's important that everybody be unified. I think that's important. I think it's important for staff and everything. And knowing, and you made some valuable comments, teachers who've said, we're always changing our schedule because we have to make up days. Well, hopefully this will end that because teachers have lives like everybody else. And I know for a fact, when you have a work day and you've got to make that appointment, that's what you do. That's what you do. And then all of a sudden we get fog, we get snow, and all of a sudden that day is taken. And it looks like you sacrifice again. So I think that's a good opportunity to resolve some of those issues. Knowing that teachers gave input and 80% approved that, I had no idea it would be that high. But that's good. That's good because they understand the purpose of it and why we're doing it. You know, when we talked about it once before, a lot of teachers didn't want to stay to 3:15. But when you analyze the whole situation and look at the purpose and the rationale, it makes sense to do that now. And lastly, good to see you, Miss Martin. Glad to have you back. And I know Miss Merritt is just as happy as she can be. She's got her hands up in the air back there. But thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Porter.
Thank you, Mr. Deluge. Mr. Eddie Ho.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This was the part tonight that I really struggle with because I'm like many of us in here tonight, I'm full of emotion about what's going on in our community. And what you all do every day, we know you all are the front line. The thing about that is, and I'm calling on our community tonight, the system, meaning the school system, you're the parent, you're the pastor, you're the sister, the brother, the counselor, the therapist. We see it and we know it. And I know it gets hard being the one that has to get it right every single time. I am heartbroken what goes on in our community, but the thing for me that keeps me going and what we do and what all of us are here to do each and every day for our students, when I see that child smiling on Facebook, when I see him at Bearfield at a Duke Energy Night, when I look at our kids continue to want to participate in things like the prom and they show up in their very best and they continue to move forward.
Yeah.
Do we have the answers? No. Does one person have the solution? No. But at the end of the day, we still have a job to do. And for that, you all, I simply say thank you. We will never know what you deal with every day, every detail, every child, every phone call, every parent, every community member, every naysayer, every negative spoken word. We'll never see it, but you all are in the front line. And for that, I am grateful because my heart is torn. Unlike many of us tonight, my heart is torn because everything that happens affects us as a school system. And I'm just tired, y'all. And I know y'all tired. But don't give up, because we got the right people in the right place at the right time to continue to move our school district forward. And that's what's important. And often enough, we just don't tell each other, I appreciate you. Thank you. We often criticize, but we don't thank each other enough. So tonight, Madam Chair, my comment is simply, thank you all. From the bus driver that the child sees first thing in the morning, to the custodians who keep our schools clean, to our cafeteria workers that give hot meals to our students every day, to our teachers who go out there and give their very best, to our administrators, to each and every one of you in your respective places. The things that you do, the sacrifices that you make, thank you. Thank you, because that is the only way we're going to turn this thing around, not to be the problem, but to be a solution to what's going on. And it's going to take each and every one of us. If it's going to take a village, we got to hold each other accountable. Everything can't rest on your shoulders. Parents, we need you. Community leaders, we need you. Pastors, we need you in your respective places. We need the entire village at this time, y'all. You can't do it alone, but we know it's in your heart to do. And for that, I'm simply grateful and thankful for what you do each and every day. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Ms. Hall, for those heartfelt words concerning situation we find ourselves in our beloved county. I've never go back over, but I did over everything that was said. It had to stop. This stuff has to stop. And no one has to answer. But to sit back and say nothing only fuels the participation of what's going on here in our county. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. None of my kids are here. My son is not here. My grandchildren. But you know what I am? I'm the father of 2,200 K-12 students here in Hertford County. Put pre-K in there for about 2,400. I'm the father, along with everyone on this board and you. And we just got to find a way to bring this community back together. And it's hurtful. I was on the phone today with some people in Raleigh, and we were talking about what's going on, and there's no answer. You can't legislate morality. You can pass all the laws in the world, but it has to come from within. Our kids have to know that they are loved, that they are respected, and that they are human. Right now, I'm not sure that they feel that way, coming out of some of the homes and environments that we have. And it's not only here, but I'm talking about here because this is my home. I will probably go on somewhere else and when he calls me, but this is my home. And I want us to have the very best situation for our kids and for our staff members. And I'm gonna leave that alone and saying, I agree totally. That someone said to me yesterday evening, I said it in the closed session, I was told I couldn't say it in closed, but I'll say it now. I was asked by an employee last evening, one night, Mr. Hall, aren't you out mighty late? And now we got to talk about being late, being out. And that didn't mean in a home. So just the idea of being late out in our communities this day and time. But with that being said, Madam Chair, I'm going to quickly talk about some budgets, but not budget, some bills that's being proposed by the General Assembly. As you well know, the House has done their work. Their budget is over in the Senate side right now. I encourage you as citizens of the county, as citizens of this state, keep your eye on certain bills that's being discussed. Because it's going to have a direct impact. And I'm talking about bills in education. These are the number of bills that's out to be discussed. Right now, we're the state board is looking at 42. And these bills range anywhere from salaries for teachers, salaries for increased salary to bring back. One of the things they're talking about, thing that the House is talking about, is bringing back master pay. Master pay. And I think that's gonna happen. We think it's gonna happen. But also for our social workers who help with some of these issues that our young people are dealing with. As you well know, social workers are not paid on a master's level. Also, they can have master's degrees like BS degree or master's degrees, but they aren't paid on that. So the General Assembly is looking at some ways of improving that. There will be some discussion about teacher pay, about certifying principals. That's gonna change in the future. I can guarantee you that's gonna change. I have to be certified principals. And by the way the school goes, so goes the principal. Or vice versa. However you want to put it. That principal is a key person in our ability to educate each and every child in Hertford County. We'll be looking at charter schools again, that movement. And by the way, there's a bill that's being proposed that fellow board members will appoint now 4 members to the board of trustees at a community college. There's a bill that probably will see some light of day that would take that away from the boards across the state. That would all be done by General Assembly and 1 or 2 coming out of the governor's office in the future. That's gonna change. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not gonna go, I did outline some here that I want to go through, Madam Chair, but we won't know until the Senate comes out with this. The governor has his proposal on it. The House has its proposal on it. And we're waiting on the Senate. The Senate has said, July 1, we're gonna be through. July 1. So we got the month of June, month of May coming in, and it's about 6 weeks we left to find out just what we're gonna do about our budget for the upcoming year. Keep your eye on everything they talk about when it comes. Oh, by the way, and there's another bit, parents' rights bill that we will be required, public school systems will be required to put online our curriculum of everything that we're going to teach, everything is going to be that's going to be required to follow. And a teacher, a parent has the right, Dr. Pratt, to say, no, we don't want that. I don't want that in my child. So we'll be looking at some changes along those lines. And if that bill sees light of day, and it looks like it's going to see some form of light.
Yeah.
The last thing, those of you in the sports, high school. There's a bill floated, I couldn't find the name of it, the number on it. Well, it's a House bill that changed the classifications from classification 1, 2, 3, 4, which we're in right now. To mandate it. Last week, I think the high school principal and her peers all across the state voted to go from 4 to 7 classifications. Now, there's a big deal to do with charter schools playing athletics and I don't get into that. And I don't know what 7 classifications gonna look like in the future. We just don't know yet. But if there's a conflict there because the House bill says 4, the membership says 7. Somewhere in between those 2 ends will have to meet. For senior citizens who go to ball games, they won't have to get a ticket. They can use cash. You know, senior citizens can't use cash now. You get your tickets online. And a lot of senior citizens, like me, we don't know how to get online and do it. But there's a bill that says we'll have to worry about that. But some of you might not be attuned to athletics as well as some of us are, but let me tell you, let a high school team go 0-10 2 years in a row. Or 1-9. Athletics keep some kids in schools and give them the opportunity to do other things in life. So athletics goes along with instruction. It's called student athletes, not athlete students. Be aware of that. Some big changes coming along the line without athletics and transgender athletes. It's an issue that we will have to be dealing with. The North Carolina Athletic Association has already looked into it. And this thing about name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness. NIL. Your top flight athletes is going to start making money off of their image, their likeness. One high school senior in this country already makes $7 billion a year on athletics. They got his name all over this, they got his name on that, and now it's down to the high school level. The high school principal, you ain't saying nothing. You just wait until it hit us when it comes to his name, image, and likeness. Thank you so much for listening to me. We'll be back next month. Hopefully next month we might have our state budget. I hope so. But you deserve every penny that they're going to allocate for you. Teachers, principals, assistant principals, bus drivers, you name it. We are all in this together. Mr. Hall, you mentioned a while ago about the village. The village needs some help in order to buy and live a comfortable life. No teacher in my mind should have to work 3 jobs. We got teachers that do it. They work 3 jobs in order to survive in this difficult environment. And then we got to deal with what? These violent acts that's occurring also. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm gonna go home and put my ribs on in a few minutes. Yeah, I got to go ribs.
Are we invited
Wait,
for
wait.
dinner?
No, you ain't get down.
Thank you, this,
I think I said that, over, said, here to shake his hand.
is that appropriate for open? Thank you for all of your thank you for all of your comments, and we have talked about, discussed, and it is hard. It's hard to attend a ceremony. I'm not going to stay on it long, where you have a young person and you know they'll be graduating or have plans for the future. All of that comes to reality. And it takes all of us. I know you're doing everything that you can do. Teachers, any staff member that we have. And my thought is, we as adults, we can start with something simple. Be kind to each other. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. We set an example for that. That doesn't cost anything. I also agree with Mr. Shields. We have to start this conflict resolution very early in life. Now, we know what you go through in school as a teacher, administrator, or whatever. It is a village, and it starts at home. And we can work as much as we can to assist our students. We don't even know some of the things that our kids go through by the time we get to school. And we can only go so far with it and go as far as possible. But how do we get into homes? And that's where it starts. We can evade the issue or whatever. But let's respect each other. I'm not talking about you. Talking about our whole community, whoever's listening. It starts with us as individuals. Show respect for yourself. show respect for others, talk to your children. But they repeat what they see. And I'm a firm believer in that. If they see you being an example of the best person that you can be as a parent, an adult, don't you think that they would model that? Look at your students and you have your answer with a lot of them. So it's all of us working together. My heart goes out to all families, to all involved. Something's wrong. Yes, we can say it over and over. But I think it begins with us. Be an example, shine the light, and your kids will follow. I'm gonna leave that alone. I would like to thank all of our people representing media, assistant principals. Thank you. We know how important you are, and we value you. You may not hear that some mornings when you get up to go to work. You may not feel that, but you are valued by this board and by members of our community. You're in a very respectful professions. And you carry yourselves that way. Do the best you can. And I believe that's what we're doing here tonight. But let's take care and be kind. Be kind. Remind your children of that. Show an example. And I think we can start a little with that change. Thank you so much. I hope I have not forgotten anything. Thank you, Attorney Swartz, for joining us tonight. And our next meeting is set at May 22nd, 5 o'clock, 5:30. Open session, closed session, 7 o'clock open. May I have a motion to adjourn at this time?
Motion, Madam Chair.
May I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, state aye. Aye. All opposed. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much. Have a good week.
8:30.